Good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events. And as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, before we get our guest on, I got a question for you, Haley. What's the difference between a CEO and a president and
Executive director?
Executive director.
You know, that's a great question. I think we should ask our amazing Ho-Chunk friend and sister that we have on right now and every Wednesday, Arvina Martin.
Welcome, Arvina. Hoa.
Hello. Hanach hinikaragiwi.
Hoa. Hey, Kadagi.
Yes.
How are you doing? It's great to see you. And it seems like I haven't seen you forever, but you've been on the show and I just happen not to be here. So again, I just want to say a big peeny gigi or just a big peeny gigi to you that for guest hosting in a good way, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely, I'm happy to do it. Me and Haley had some good conversations.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, you guys were doing so well. I was driving to the Yankees game, and I was listening to it on YouTube, and I called in, and you guys didn't even pick it up. It was just like you guys were doing your thing. We don't need Robert. Oh, wow.
It helps when you have an amazing guest host, such as Arvina.
Absolutely.
Shucks.
Well, a lot going on, and I don't know where do you want to dive into, but I'm excited. I'm not a big poll person because I feel like a big group of people like Gen Zs aren't polled. They don't have landlines, and I think like you and I have talked before that, you know, polls and the mass media out there that's owned by billionaires and only by 8 companies own 95% of the airwaves. They want to keep things close, so they get clicks and things like that. But even our friends at Fox News are saying that Biden's ahead, and I like to hear that, even if it's from Fox.
I mean, I am not sure which outlet or place did the polling, so I'm not sure what agency, or I don't even know what word to use for them, but I'm not sure the group that did the poll that they're citing, but it does give me a little bit of I take all the polls with a grain of salt. I mean, because of the reasons that you said, but the closer we get, the more important those polls, or the more accurate I think they tend to be. We're still really early in this presidential race, even though it seems like we've been doing this for years now. It's still really early, and there are a lot of people that are not quite yet paying attention. There's politics nerds like me that's been paying attention the whole time, but I have heard about that there are a lot of people that have been tuning Trump out for so long that they haven't had to pay attention to him and haven't had to be reminded of all of his faults. And so that people have been saying, as we get closer and as Trump is covered more, and can you believe the idea of him being covered even more? Like, I feel like he's always going and doing something. But that more people will pay attention and likely be turned off by his rhetoric and his ideas and, just his manner. His manners, even. Gee.
He has no manners. And it's interesting, too. There was 3 elections or 4 elections, I think, that went nationally, and 3 of them that he he anointed as people that he wanted in lost, and that's always good to hear, and that's a good indicator. And I like what you're saying too, because I think you and I have talked about it, and you and Haley might have talked about it too. Is that not everybody's junkies? People, when it comes to politics, like I'm listening to shows, I'm reading the paper. People work, go to school and have lives, and aren't paying attention. And when they do, hopefully they'll be going, "What?" And it's good. It's good over evil. It's just like a real easy kind of pick.
Agreed. And I will also say that it appears that President Biden got a new endorsement today from Republican Adam Kinzinger.
I know, that was great.
It's not surprising that he, in a sense, that because he was on the January 6th committee and did take a stand, but there are a lot of Republicans that are probably secretly supporting Biden, but don't have the guts or the wherewithal to say it. And because he is not running for re-election, he has the kind of the freedom, in a sense. He doesn't have to be beholden to anybody other than his own conscience. And I think that that's very telling that, he's voting, as he said, for democracy.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got a debate coming up, Arvina.
Oof.
And I don't know if you're a big debate partier. I know the mother station here over the years has had watch parties for these debates. And this one's an early debate. And I like the fact that they're turning off mics when they're not talked to or asked questions, and that there's no audience in there. It's almost the old days of the Nixon Kennedy debate there. All we need is a little black and white TV.
and one candidate wearing stage makeup and the other not.
And sweating profusely.
Yes. I am interested to see how this debate goes. I will be watching with some Dane County Democrats down at the Rigby in Madison. If you are nearby, come check it out at the Rigby. And yeah, I mean, I think it's really, I don't know what to think about the fact that they basically have to go with like rules that you use for little kids, like this is like, it's like a debate team debate, that high school kids are doing, and with no audience to feed off of. It just says so much about, I mean, let's be real, one side of the equation, and his tendency to go off the rails and to not abide by the rules set by the debate committee. And it's absolutely wild to me that it's come to this. With everything that's happened, I still feel some sense of shock that this is where we are. And oh my goodness.
Yeah. I know it's so blatant too, and that's what really shocks me, is that they say listen to what they're saying, because that's what they're going to do. And we haven't even really talked about the 2025 manifesto for the Republicans if they win, and that's a whole show worth that we should maybe get into before the election, because that's telling you what they're exactly going to do, Arvina.
They're saying the quiet part out loud. And yeah, for any of you listeners who have not heard of Project 2025, it is a legit website. I believe it is hosted by the Heritage Foundations. If I'm wrong, correct me. But that they're saying everything they want to do. I mean, that one of the first things I saw when I looked at that website was eliminating the U.S. Department of Education and eliminating Head Start. I mean, I think of all of our Native communities that have our youth that go through Head Start. I mean, talk about a non-controversial program. I mean, it's literally preschool.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, please. I know it's exasperating, and I appreciate you joining us in the Ho Chunk show today and exasperate together. So hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and our friend from Wisconsin. For all you Wisconsin people, we have representation for you. We'll be right back after the short break.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hi, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. If you need new windows for your home or business, I highly recommend 952 Windows. They offer windows and doors with the longest warranties and Energy Star's #1 most efficient ratings. I can personally vouch for them, having known the owner for decades. They did a fantastic job on our second floor addition 20 years ago, installing windows, roofing, siding, and even adding a master bedroom and bathroom. In my opinion, they're one of the most best-kept secrets in remodeling. As Onyx Bath and Rosebud cabinet dealers, 952 Windows guarantees top-quality products. Until now, 952 Windows thrived on referrals and the loyalty of satisfied Window-Light customers. They continue to support these customers by providing warranty parts for the 80,000 windows sold since 1994. For unbeatable deals and trusted service on windows, doors, roofing, siding, kitchens, bathrooms, and more, call 952 Windows or visit 952windows.com.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Dive into a world where tradition meets innovation, satire meets symbolism, and Native American art takes center stage. All My Relations Arts and the Native American Community Development Institute proudly unveil Alternative by Frank Buffalo Hyde. Alternative is an electrifying exhibition that uses satire to push boundaries and demand a closer look at the vibrant complexities of Native identity in today's world. So embrace the unexpected and challenge norms with Alternative by Frank Buffalo Hyde, showing now at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Concrete and Masonry. Check out their work at nativeconcretemasonry.com or give Chuck a call at 612-597-0421.
Hey, we're back here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and we're talking about, I guess, my biggest nightmare. But I have to ask you something, or I have to state something and have a response from you. I thought it was great when Biden came out in front of, when he did the State of the Union address. And of course, Republicans are saying that he's on drugs now, and that, you know, instead of Sleepy Joe, and now they're going the other way, saying that he's on drugs, and Trump wants him to do a drug test and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I'll tell you, I take a little nap before the radio show, and I feel energized at 63 years old, and I can guarantee if I'm doing this, I'm going to need a nap, and I'll be energized when I'm 82 also.
Well, and this is, I mean, I feel like we're already getting to the point of the campaign where they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. Sleepy Joe didn't work, so now let's go hyperactive Joe. Like I it's just, it's absurd, and while Biden may be in his 80s, he is also very active. I mean, we see videos of him on his bike, and he's somebody that takes his fitness and his health seriously, and you can tell, and so to have someone who is in his 80s and it leads a healthy lifestyle, it makes sense that he would be, you know, have energy. Like
Right.
it's it, you, I, it renders me speechless,
Well,
which is not
that
great for a radio show, but
exactly. But you know, and it's amazing that I feel like there's a lot of dog whistles going on too, and especially when you talk about Biden's vice president. There's a lot of racism in that whole thing with the vice president, and is Joe Biden going to die? And then we got this BIPOC strong woman that's going to be president. Then what's going to happen to us?
I mean, there's racism and there's sexism all intertwined.
Right.
It's a lovely pot of intersectional hatred that our vice president faces. And
Yeah.
she's been facing this her entire career, so she's not new to it. And she's tough, and she's very strong, and
Mhm.
she is absolutely capable. And they're even though when they were both running their presidential campaigns during the primary, they clashed, but there was a reason that President Biden selected her. And
Mhm.
I think it's very clear why he selected her. She's someone who can, talk to him and kind of maybe pull him into different areas policy wise, because they don't agree on absolutely everything. She can hold him accountable, and she is absolutely capable of taking the reins, should the unthinkable happen, and
Mhm.
we lose the president. She would be absolutely, capable and ready to go as soon as it's time.
I love history, and the last time a vice president took over for a president was Johnson when Kennedy was assassinated. And other than the Vietnam War, which, don't get me wrong, was a huge thing and stopped him from running for a second term after he finished Kennedy's time. But all the social projects that came out of the Johnson administration that we have now, so don't ever underestimate a vice president, I guess is what I'm saying. And Biden was a vice president too. So yeah, there you go too.
Absolutely, he knows what the job takes, and knows the very specific nature of that particular job. I can't think of any. I mean, I can't think of another position that has those specific challenges that a vice president does. I think that she is going to be really great on the campaign trail too, because as history has shown us, the vice presidential candidate, the running mate, is often seen as the attack dog, and she is in command of the facts,
Mhm.
although these days it seems facts seem to matter less and less to certain people.
Mhm.
But she has command of the issues. She knows what she's talking about, and she is not going to take any crap.
And it seems like the Democrats have the best vice presidents too. I mean, I when I got done with my sentence, all of a sudden I thought of Dan Quayle, and I wanted,
Oh boy.
ooh.
Yeah, I remember I was a kid then, and I remember being like, I know how to spell potato.
Exactly. Well, I really believe it's so important to have you on Native Roots Radio, because the closer we get to the election, the more we have to talk about it, and
Mhm.
people just jumping in, and listening and checking it out when they're able to. When we're on, we get quite a few. We get 40, 50,000 views when you're on YouTube and
Oh,
Facebook, and
my goodness.
yeah, not to mention all over civic media in the Twin Cities here. And it's important because, like I said, a lot of people aren't, it isn't in their jam. It's not in the forefront. They're not junkies like you and I, where, I'm listening to Stephanie Miller in the morning and reading the paper and,
Ha
going to all
Having
these
TV
things.
news on all day while I do my political work.
Well, before I ask you a couple other questions and
Sure.
and change it up a little bit, I want you to let people know out there in Wisconsin too, and especially Madison, where you guys are going to be for the. Can you say that again? Where you guys are going to be for the
Yeah,
listening of the
we will we will be downtown watching the
debate?
debate at the Rigby, which is just off the Capitol Square.
Cool. I love Madison, and if I didn't live in the Twin Cities, I would be living in Madison. I
It's a
really
pretty
would.
great
I love
place.
it. It is. Hey, so there's a couple other things I want to touch base with you before we
Yeah.
go. It's like I had a friend whose daughter was at the Olympic swim trials, and I saw that you were there too.
Yes, it was a bucket list item for me because I don't think that I will ever be able to afford to go to the Olympics. So going to US Olympic trials, it was in Indianapolis, which is just, maybe 4 or 5 hours away from Madison, so we could drive, and the tickets were not that pricey. It was at the Indiana Colts stadium, so
Oh,
they built 3 pools to go into the football the Lucas Oil Stadium. And there was one of the nights that we were there, set the world record for most attendance at a swim event at over
oh,
22,000. It was amazing. I got to see a kid that I used to teach lessons to when he was just a little guy, and he got to swim at trials. And I got to see the GOAT, Katie Ledecky,
whoa.
which was amazing. But I also got to meet a lot of Black and brown folks that are getting involved into the sport of swimming, and I, got to meet some of the first Black Olympians and in swimming, and medalists, and it was
Mhm.
really cool to see. And I got to talk to some people that work with getting kids of color into the pool and making sure that they know how to swim, keeping them safe, but also setting them up for a lifetime of liking aquatics sports, and
Mhm.
being healthy, and learning how to move your body in particular ways for the sport of swimming.
Mhm.
And it was really exciting to see that swimming is growing to be a lot more intersectional, and I can't wait till we have our first Indigenous gold medal winner. I don't know what event it would be in, but I look at the North American Indigenous Games and hope that we get some of those kids that come out of that program and end up,
Mhm.
on Team USA or Team Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got Billy Mills and Jim Thorpe, but few and far
Mhm.
between. So we have to hope and pray that that happens.
Yeah.
What else is going on in your world? I know it's powwow season, and we always like to talk about respect. Everyone can come to a powwow, but
Yeah.
respect our
Well,
boundaries and don't touch our hair.
don't touch our hair, don't touch our regalia.
Yeah.
For any folks that are in Wisconsin, or the Oneida Nation powwow is going to be this weekend. There's also going to be presence from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, and they're going to be having a special for Two-Spirit dancers and their supporters, which I think we need to see more of, and I'm really excited about that.
Well, Arvina, I just want to say a big peeny gigi. Thank you so much. We are always excited when you hit that OK button that you're going to be on the show, and we know it's going to be a great show. So thanks for leading us off in a good way.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to join you guys.
Right on. Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and our friend.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
As we emerge from the shadows of the pandemic, let us celebrate our resilience and embrace the path to a brighter future. While the COVID-19 emergency declaration may be over, our commitment to safety remains stronger than ever. We invite you to stand tall and protect what matters most, our health and the well-being of our loved ones and elders. The power to keep our community safe lies within each one of us. It's important to remember the basics when you're with someone who might be at risk of COVID complications. Wear your mask, wash your hands often, and take an at-home COVID test if you have any symptoms. We are a strong and interconnected community, and together we'll emerge from this challenge stronger than ever. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the spirit of our Native American culture thriving. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more.
AM 950 KTN up, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Join the community spirit at Four Sisters Farmers Market, a seasonal hub for cultural placemaking, food access, and Indigenous values. Four Sisters Farmers Market has always emphasized their commitment to the community and inclusivity, accepting SNAP and EBT benefits. Stop by and get affordable, healthy, and culturally appropriate local food. Four Sisters Farmers Market is open Thursdays 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and is located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off of Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis. Discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market on their social media accounts.
Dive into a world where tradition meets innovation, satire meets symbolism, and Native American art takes center stage. All My Relations Arts and the Native American Community Development Institute proudly unveil Alternative by Frank Buffalo Hyde. Alternative is an electrifying exhibition that uses satire to push boundaries and demand a closer look at the vibrant complexities of Native identity in today's world. So embrace the unexpected and challenge norms with Alternative by Frank Buffalo Hyde, showing now at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 60, then Thursday sunshine with a high of 77. Vinaigrette can add the perfect complement to your next home-cooked meal. Taste test their wide selection of oils and vinegars, and they'll bottle it for you right on the spot. Vinaigrette is located at 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis. Check them out at vinaigrettemn.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis. Be sure to check out their Four Sisters Farmers Market every Thursday until October.
Hey, there's some other things going on too. Native American Community Clinic. You know how I get those two mixed up all the time, Haley.
Me too. Yeah, Native American Community Clinic. It's on the same avenue, Franklin Avenue there. They will be having, this is on the fourth Thursday of every month from 10 to 11 a.m. NAC hosts a wellness breakfast for the community. It is a free, healthy breakfast and discussion on health and wellness. Everyone is welcome. This free breakfast takes place tomorrow at the Minneapolis American Indian Center, again from 10 to 11 a.m.
Well, we talk about a lot of things here in Native Roots Radio: politics, artists, writers. I don't think we've had any magicians on, but I'm sure there's some.
That'd be a good one to find.
Yeah,
like a trickster or something.
Oh, there's a lot of tricks. There's a lot of tricksters out there. It's the magician we were wondering about, but yeah. But hey, we have a guest that I've known for a long time as a college student. And she's in the community, and you see her everywhere. And she's a great singer and musician, and her band's played in years past at the farmers market that we talk about. We got Jada Brown. Welcome, Jada.
Anine, hi.
How's it going?
Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we were Haley and I were quizzing each other before the show. It's like, have we ever had Jada on the show? And I said, I know that she's wanted to be on the show, and I've wanted to be on the show, but I don't think she's ever been on the show. So welcome. And this is your this is your time to shine here on Native Roots Radio, and I know you got a lot of things going on musically, and maybe we can just talk a little bit about yourself, and then what's dropping here soon.
Yeah, so my name is Jada Brown. I met Robert many years ago, and I remember he wanted me to come on the show and sing some tunes.
Yeah.
And um, I it was a Uvalde song. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
you're kind of
Well, you had
your
come on the show and
audio's a
sing
little
some
spotty
songs.
there, Jada.
Yeah, Jada, you're breaking up a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Let's see.
Now you're not. That's weird.
Okay, let me get. No, I'm not.
Now you
You're good
sound
now.
good.
Okay.
So you were saying that I
I
wanted
sound
you to
good. Okay,
sing.
we're good to go.
Yeah, I wanted you to sing a certain song. Was that from like
Yeah, it
you've
was
heard in your
Eulalie.
albums? Yes.
Yeah, so I'm from St. Michael, Minnesota, and then I grew up there. That's where most of my mom's side is from, and I moved to Minneapolis when after high school, and I started going to Power Grounds and taking American Indian Studies classes in school because I don't know Ojibwe and I wasn't really connected to my culture growing up. I'm just being mixed and maybe like that boarding school break. So I like moving to the cities really like connected me to community again, to the Native community. And also singing around in the city. It's a big artist collective and there's a lot of like community building and great things going on. So that's what ended me up in the city. I always kind of felt isolating out there in words that I like couldn't explain when I was younger. But my family did move to the city like after like the relocation. And so then I just ended up coming back to the city and it's been really great the past few years, just connecting with so many musicians and activists and leaders. And yeah, so.
Well, you have a great voice, and I know you do your own stuff too. But you had like a cover band at Powwow Grounds or a couple of years ago, and that was awesome. Your voice was really rocking in the group you were with, the people that you were jamming with. That was awesome.
Yeah, when I first started singing at Power Grounds, I met some members of Red Pony, the Red Pony band with it was Windy Downwind and Ellsworth. And so some of those band members have passed on, but I love lots of older music from the 60s and 70s. So I really liked playing with them and learning their stories of being on the road as young Native musicians back in their day in like the 60s and 70s. When the American Indian movement was like really upfront and taking place. So it's just a lot of great stories and hearing their journeys in music, and it's still going strong today. I think with social media, just being able to connect from so many different tribes in Turtle Island, but even like across the world, like being able to come and share our stories and really gain, like Native musicians in the last few years have really gained a platform to bring their communities to visibility rather than what like mainstream media has always stereotyped or put an image on, reservations and urban communities.
Yeah, good call there. So, who are some of your heroes in the music world? Who do you like to listen to, and who do you like to? Because I heard a really interesting comment about what's that young girl that her and her brother played music. What's her name?
Billie Eilish?
Yeah, Billie Eilish was saying, when she first started, she was, kind of copying people until she found her own groove. And that really made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. I have influences. I don't think anything like in the US culture, colonial society, it's always like you made it by yourself, it's independent. And going back to our tribal roots, it's very collective. We don't get anywhere without others around us, without our family and relatives and friends and mentors. And so I do have inspirations musically. I was a big Amy Winehouse fan. Who fell to addiction and an overdose. And actually, as I'm talking about that right now, that's actually what my next EP that is coming out. I'm releasing the single tomorrow. It's called
Oh.
Speak, Sharing Personal Experience as Knowledge.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yeah, and
good one.
so as I'm talking about that and talking about Amy Winehouse, who was a big, I was a big fan of. This next EP is actually about the opioid epidemic
Mm.
and remembering and honoring and celebrating our relatives. Because I think often there is a stigmatization and like a lot of rage and grief over fentanyl overdoses.
Mhm.
And, you know, some of our relatives fall victim because they know they're actively using it. And a lot of other relatives fall victim to it because they were slipped it. And so it's
Right.
like you're filled with a lot of rage because it's like, who do we hold accountable? And just with bigger politics, with pharmaceuticals, you know, being the
Mhm.
ones who kind of got this
Yeah.
opioid crisis kind of going and rolling throughout like the past 20 years. It's just
Mhm.
it affects so many communities and not only the Native community. And I don't think I know anyone who hasn't been affected by an overdose in their family.
Yeah, well, what's interesting too is what I like Minnesota here now, marijuana is legal, and because even fentanyl is being put in marijuana on the street. So, I mean, that's good that marijuana is legal, or I should say cannabis is legal in Minnesota, because then you know what you're getting and you can be safe. And yeah, I mean, it's the pharmaceutical company. It's been proven that been destroying lives for 20 years just on fentanyl.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think it's just another you know, cycle that was put into our society, and that, you know, together we're gonna come out strong. And, you know, there's lots of organizations around the cities and all around the states that do Narcan training and bring awareness. And so I think we're doing like the most we can be doing. And
Hmm.
but there's always more. And my first song is called Speak,
Hmm.
and I wrote it. I have little notes, but it's kind of talking about the things that we go through in childhood. We all have different childhoods and have different experiences, and some of those experiences are more have more hardship than others as children. And so when kids speak up, but sometimes they're not listened to in this colonial
Hmm.
society, like kids are gaslit or shamed. And
Right.
so if you carry that through the years, then we kind of go the rest of our lives kind of holding that in. So the Speak is really about, I have some lyrics that say, go on, daughter, and speak your heart and speak your mind, and you'll find that healing within when you start sharing your story.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
That's right
that.
on. Yeah, I agree. And I'm an old person, Jada, and we were told pictures should be seen and not heard. Little children are pictures, and they should be seen and not heard. And another one too that kind of really messed with me too is clean your plate. And that when you're not, I still eat food even if I'm full, and that those kind of things really stay with you your whole life. So I agree with you on just my personal experience with that.
Yeah, that's wild. I've never heard of that saying, children aren't like pictures being seen, not heard. That's
Yeah,
scary. That
yeah,
is,
that's the
I
'60s and
think it's,
'50s.
mhm.
So yeah, when you especially I don't want to get too deep here, but there was a lot of things going on in the church and all these things, and so when you hear stuff like that, people are afraid to speak their truth, and your song's talking about speaking truth.
Yeah, it is. And I had the chance to perform and speak at Edison High School recently for their American Indian Heritage Month
Hmm.
Day. And that was a really cool experience because it brought me back to that point in time, and just seeing how the youth of today are able to learn their languages.
Hmm.
And in school, starting out as babies. And like that's something that, you know, like my grandparents' generation could like never imagine. Not
Right.
imagine, but like they didn't have that experience. And so having language revitalization come back and having like youth sharing their stories on social media, it's, you know, it's a powerful tool. And I think, you know, just more empowerment to them.
Well, I'm glad you brought up too, because I'm a Johnny come lately when it comes to my culture too. and it's never too late to learn and be a part of the culture, and so it's really cool to hear that, Jada, that you've experienced that too.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I think it's just meant to be when we go back and find and connect to our culture, because our ancestors are still like within us and down
Hmm.
the line. And not everyone in my family connects as strongly. So, but it's those stories of like not being able to of like it's really reversing the shame that was placed in,
Yeah, definitely.
because
Hey, Jada, can you hold on another segment here? We gotta pay the bills. We gotta take a break here. Hey, we're here with Jada Brown, musician and all around groovy person. We're glad to have you on. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Imagine over 7,000 voices from around the globe coming together in harmony in Minneapolis. This summer, Gala Choruses Festival 2024 comes to Minnesota. It's the world's largest LGBTQ+ singing event. From July 10th through 14th, Minneapolis will be transformed into a vibrant city of song. Join 122 choruses from places as far as China, Estonia, Finland, Ukraine, and Taiwan for 5 unforgettable days of wall-to-wall concerts, workshops, and social events at world-class venues like Orchestra Hall, the Minneapolis Convention Center, and Central Lutheran Church. And don't miss Gala's first ever Trans Fusion Cabaret on Friday, July 12th. This show will uplift trans, non-binary, and intersex voices and feature Gala Festival singers performing alongside local singers. Feel the energy in person by purchasing tickets at galacourses.org or stream every performance live and on demand at galacourses.org. Celebrate love, diversity, and the power of music at Gala Choruses Festival 2024, where every voice matters. July 10th through 14th in downtown Minneapolis.
Hi, I'm Chuck Manette, owner of Native Concrete and Masonry. With concrete and masonry adding substantial value to your home, it's always a great idea to repair your sidewalks or just add a beautiful new patio. Cracks or heaving in your sidewalks due to tree roots can be dangerous. Native Concrete and Masonry has helped clients across the metro to make their outdoor space safer and helped increase the value to their homes. For patios, sidewalks, driveways, or garage slabs, go to nativeconcretemasonry.com.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, we are here with Jada Brown. I always want to, I always want to say downtown Jada Brown.
Right. Me too.
But it's
That's
great
kind
to
of my
have
name. It's from downtown Julie Brown.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that name just got passed down.
Yeah,
naturally.
it's awesome. And there's 2 things I want to get to right away. Is where can we hear your music? And then also we have one of our regulars that watches online wants you to say what SPEAK stands for again.
Okay. I'm glad people are listening. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks Native Roots Radio. So where you can listen to my music, I'm on all streaming platforms. YouTube, if you look up Jada Brown. I have a Instagram, downtown Jada Brown, and that's where you can see all my links, my link bio. It's like today's website. So Facebook, like Jada Brown. This is the image you'll see. My next shows I'm playing the beginning of July, we have a string of shows. I'm in a few different creative projects as an artist. That's pretty common. So July 9th, I'm playing with my band Willows with Frank Buffalo Hide at the Cedar Culture Center.
Wow.
Yeah, and his work is featured in Power Grounds right now in the art gallery. I'm sure you've seen
Yeah.
it. Really cool work, like pop culture, like native pop culture work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be exciting. That's on the Outdoor Plaza at the Cedar Culture Center on July 9th at 6 p.m. And then July 11th, my cover band, and we do a little bit of originals.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be playing at the NACD Open House at Power Grounds
Mm.
between 11:30 and 1:30 p.m. And it's Four Sisters Farmers Market that day too. So you got to come out to that if you're around.
Definitely will be there. And again, our one of our great listeners,
Oh, yeah.
Santino, wants to know what "Speak" stands for again.
Yeah, so I wrote this song is a single off of the EP. It's a powerful song. I have my late boyfriend's recording in it of his words, and he really was talking about this childhood trauma and speaking and lifting our people up. And so I didn't know what to name the song. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I heard "Speak." One of the lyrics was "Speak." And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, there has to be an acronym to that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let me see if there's any acronyms online. And one I saw was sharing personal experience as knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important because our stories are valid, our histories, and you don't, in like the colonial world, like we have these titles, whether like academic or career titles, and that, give you more leverage, but the knowledge you have is right within you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want people to feel empowered by their own stories.
Yeah, it's important, and it makes you who you are. Your stories, and to tell them sometimes is really healing, whether it's through song or just talking to somebody.
Yeah, so I really think that acronym went well, sharing personal experiences knowledge to kick it off. The
Right
EP.
on. And that we can find on all the platforms, or is that on a specific one when it drops tomorrow?
That drops tomorrow, but it'll be out on everything. So if you're
Right on.
tuned into my socials, you'll see it.
Right on. And
Thank you.
again, isn't that awesome? We got people being able to talk to us live here in the radio show.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. I hope it speaks to you too.
Right on. So what else what's the future? What's the goals? Is it just to keep creating and being around creative people and fill your soul in that way? Is that one of your main goals, and is that who you are, Jada?
I think that I'm always connected to music.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift of mine, and hearing from mentors and elders about sharing your gifts. Like when you have a gift, and we all have a gift,
Mm-hmm.
is to share that with our relatives because it's medicine. And so I'm always going to be doing music in some capacity. I expect to perform until I'm old.
My
um,
age, my age
some
or older.
career, yeah.
My age or older.
Yeah. Yep. Until I can't perform anymore. That's when I'm going.
Right on.
I'm actually seeing Smokey Robinson. He's one of my idols too. I'm going to New York this weekend to visit a friend and see Smokey Robinson. And I actually have a show lined up to my first show out of state
Nice.
in Manhattan. So with my friend Largemount, who's a hip hop artist from out there.
Well, surprisingly, we live out in New York a part of the time too, and surprisingly, there is a lot of natives that are in the city doing things, and that's good on you. And just got to throw this out there: Smokey was originally from Minneapolis.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know
Oh my
that, I bet,
God.
right?
No, I didn't.
I didn't
That's
know that either.
exciting.
Yeah, and just look it up on Wikipedia because you don't have to take my word for it. You too.
Okay.
Well, what else you got, Jada? Before we let you go, again, we can hear Jada Brown's music. Just check it out, YouTube, your Instagram, Downtown Jada Brown, and also look for you on SoundCloud and all those other places. Correct?
Yes, and Facebook. I have an artist page, Jada Brown. I just wanted to say miigwech and thank you to to everyone who's supported me over the years, for having me on the show. I wouldn't be where I'm at today with everyone's support and belief. And so it just means the world to me, and it will help me further my music career that I'm endeavoring on. So,
well, we got to have you. I appreciate that, and we got to have you back on and play some of your music for people too. So that'll be important for us after you drop this. Now that we've given them the curiosity approach, we want to play the music for them, and we'll get you on in a couple weeks again.
Yes, I love it.
Right on. Hey, thanks a lot, Jada Brown. Really appreciate you coming on, and we got to do this more often. And you have a great spirit, and you have a great voice too. So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Robert and Haley, and all the listeners.
Oh, and she's go ahead and say all the listeners.
And said hi, all the listeners. Keep tuning in to Native Roots Radio.
Oh, right on. We better grab that for one of our promos. Thanks, Jada.
Definitely. Thank you, Jada. Peanut Geeky.
Right. Have a great day, great night. Thanks again. Wow, Haley, great voice, great community member, and Jada Brown rocks. And I can't wait to hear this. It's dropping tomorrow.
Yeah, and great message too. I love the acronym for that, and really just great message. Every time I see Jada in community, no matter where it is, whether she's performing or we're at Powwow Grounds, she's just got such an amazing spirit. And I mean, really, everyone should come out for that open house at NACD where Jada Brown will be performing. It'll also be a Four Sisters Farmers Market Day, so that'll be fun. I believe, when is that, July 11th? I think that's what
Yeah, I think so. But we got, and Katie asked how we can hear her again. She has Jada Brown has she's all over social media, so you can just Google her, or I know she has some of the stuff too. If you have Instagram, Downtown Jada Brown. And so it's great that people are asking how to listen to her, but we're going to have her back on, and we're going to play some of the snippets of her song and then really get deep. Hey, and this has been a great show, and thanks, Haley. Thanks, Arvina Martin, our friend from Wisconsin, and another Ho-Chunk. And thank you, Haley. If you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
And free Leonard Peltier now.